Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Trucker Money. This is number 52. We're going to talk about the week of February 20th through the 26th. If you're new here, we just get together on Fridays, talk about money, something other than trucking. Excuse me for a minute. I take a sip from this fancy new Trucker News coffee mug that I just received from my best buddy and brother, Cash is King Trucking. Go check out his channel over there. Get you one of these mugs or something else from the merch store. Be stylish. Everybody's doing it. I just share my personal journey, what I do for investing, side income, my thoughts on different things. It's not financial advice, just a free exchange of ideas where we all put out our ideas and thoughts and help each other out. So just hoping to inspire somebody to take charge of their financial future and set a little something aside for yourself. Boy, what a crazy week it has been. Holy cow. A lot of stuff going on. So I guess primarily talk about passive income investing. I didn't really make any new investments this week, not because of everything that's been going on, just because I've been super duper busy with work. So I've just been distracted. Didn't have any rental income come in, anything like that. Nothing from any side hustles. But still going to talk about the passive income dividend portfolio because it just hits every week. Without me doing anything, just the way it was designed, purely by accident. Like I said, this week I didn't put any new money in. I missed an opportunity. Man, we had a flash crash the other day, and boy, she tanked hard, but then it just came right back. And we're gonna see volatility like that. I'm not even stressing it because we're gonna get some more chances, some more buying opportunities, at least in my opinion. And hey, that's worth what you paid for it, which is absolutely nothing. We did get one dividend increase in the portfolio this week. It was from Royal Bank of Canada, ticker symbol RY. They raised their dividend by about 0.5%. Not great, but we'll take it. It didn't really do nothing other than just be a loyal shareholder. And there was a ton. I look at marketbeat.com to check for dividend increases and such, and there was a ton of companies that raised their dividend this week. That just happened to be the only one that I own. Home Depot hiked their dividend pretty good. Wendy's, a lot of different companies you would recognize. So that was pretty interesting. But hey, you win some, you lose some. Can't always be for me. It just so happens that Royal Bank of Canada also paid their dividend this week. So we received a payment from them. And also Starbucks issued a dividend payment this week. That's really all that happened. It's pretty uneventful, which is okay. But I wish I could have caught that flash crash the other day because there's some pretty good opportunities. Some of these stocks that yield a pretty decent yield, if you catch them on a fall like that artificial drop can really make that dividend percentage calculated as a much higher starting dividend yield. So that's something I kind of like to do. But hey, you can't catch them all, right? Or we'd all be billionaires by now if we knew what was going to happen every day. Like I said, crazy week in the world. We got a new war going on. We got inflation running all over the place. We've got shortages in all our industries and trucking here, shortages at the grocery store. So I'm thinking it's time to bump up that emergency fund. So today I want to talk about emergency funds. Not very sexy, not a sexy thing to talk about, but boy, is it necessary, especially in times like this, big times of uncertainty. Right? We may be coming into we eventually will, but we may, who knows when, be coming into an economic downturn, a severe one. And that's when you want to have a pretty good emergency fund strapped on for yourself. So emergency funds, kind of, we got to determine what is and what is not an emergency, what justifies tapping into that emergency fund. What should we do with the money? We got a lot of different options there, and how much? How much is a good emergency fund? Let's start with that one. I don't really know. Dave Ramsey says 6 months income or 6 months expenses, however way you want to look at it. Some people say income, some people say expenses. I like 6 months expenses, but we're constantly building on that. It can never be too big. Man, you can never have too big of an emergency fund. Even if it's at the expense of, maybe it cuts into my investing a little bit or whatever, but it can never be too big. Heck, a year. Man, I'd feel really good if I had a year's start with expenses, for a year's expenses put back, and then maybe work towards the year's income. Man, I would feel really good about things. So it's all a matter in how volatile is your life. Are you a one income household? Then one person loses their job, it's a pretty big emergency. It's a pretty big problem. If you have two incomes, maybe it's not quite as big a problem. Where do I keep the money? I'm a big fan of a couple different things here. I want it to, number one, be very liquid. So no gold and silver, no CDs, no money markets. Okay, well, money markets are pretty liquid, but nothing fancy where I can't get my money out like right now, right? So I keep half of it in cash. Have yourself a well hidden place if you're going to do that. And then I like to keep the other half of it just in a bank account where I can access it with a debit card. And the reason for splitting it like that is, number one, it's always good to have cash on hand. Emergencies are often unplanned. So if you have an emergency in the middle of the night, and you got to pay for something, you can grab cash and pay for it, or multiple scenarios where cash works out well for you. And then on the other hand too, you might be out traveling. So if you're in 1,000 miles away from home, which we as truck drivers often are, is it practical to carry $4,000, $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 cash in your pocket? It's not really. So you want to be able to access it with a debit card, or access it easily. And if it's tied up in CDs or what have you, it can take some time to get those cashed out, switched into your bank account. So that's kind of my criteria for emergency fund, just very liquid, because I'm not trying to make money off it. I'm trying to keep myself out of problems in emergency. Just merely my opinion. And then what is an emergency? Is it an emergency because there's a big sale at Sears? Well, not really. It's a big emergency that we had a minor breakdown on the car? Not really. I mean, you should have kind of a car maintenance fund, somewhat of that. If you have a major breakdown on the car, maybe blow an engine or total the darn thing, that might be an emergency. The furnace goes out. Well, if it's in July, it's not such a big deal. If it's the middle of January, yeah, it's a pretty big deal. Routine doctor bills, in my opinion, not an emergency. You have a massive heart attack or something, or break your leg, break your back. Yeah, that's something that's unplanned, significant expense. It might be an emergency. It sounds odd, but I'm a big fan of sitting down and writing out rules for yourself when you can and can't touch the money. Some people say, "Well, I got a big credit card limit, with a zero balance. An emergency, I can access that." It's not a bad backup plan. The only thing I don't much like about that is, if you're in an emergency situation, that perhaps you just lost your job, maybe going and racking up a bunch of debt might only compound your problems. So, something to think about there. But hey, maybe if you have 6 months expenses, and then on top of that, some kind of line of credit you can draw from, pretty good strategy there. So that's all I wanted to talk about today, was emergency funds. Think about it. We might be coming into some really tough times. A lot of turmoil in the world right now. We never know how it's going to affect us. So anyway, everybody take it easy. Have a great day, and we will see you next time.